One of the things we have to do in blackgrass soils, if we want to control blackgrass by cultural means, the best way is by spring cropping, but that's very, very challenging on these heavy soils. So Project Lamport is looking for ways to be able to reliably establish spring crops on heavy soils and to be able to reduce your blackgrass burden and grow profitable crops. So here we are in an untreated plot, so we're probably around 2,000 blackgrass heads per square metre in this plot. So you can see it's a very high pressure site. Blackgrass is obviously a massive problem, and we're struggling to control blackgrass by chemical means now. With resistance to our contacts, we're having to rely on our residuals, which may not work as well as we'd like in a dry autumn. So we're changing from winter cropping to spring cropping, which is farmers will know is challenging. We're changing potentially from minimum tillage to direct drilling, which again can be concerning, and we're including a cover crop to actually get the best from the cultural control methods. At the site we have 14 rotational strip. We have plots where we're looking at business as usual, so a normal rotation with the chemistry we've got. Very quickly we've gone from a low population to a high one with our best chemistry. And this plot here, and the trials team have been out and counted 275 blackgrass heads per square metre. So we've stood here in the spring wheat, year 2 of autumn cover crop, which is our black oat and legume mix. Autumn cover crop followed by spring wheat. Looking fantastic again with barely a head of blackgrass in it. So you know, you look in this and you're struggling to see any blackgrass at all. So we've done an absolutely fantastic job on the blackgrass with a crop that looks very, very good. So the spring wheat in the plot last year did 8.6 tonnes a hectare. Okay, this is a picture of what we'd expect our covered crop to look like in October, which is the peak germination period for blackgrass. So we planted our sparse population, around 70 black oats per square metre. They're fairly small, they've got their legumes in amongst them, but still allowing the blackgrass to come up. But we've got this open structure during our peak germination for blackgrass, allowing the blackgrass to come up in the crop. So with a blank piece of paper we said, can we design a cover crop that we can plant in late August, early September, which will grow through the winter, but in its initial stages we can plant at a low seed rate, and then it will bulk up a bit later on. So we looked around the world and to our near neighbours in France, where they've been looking at cover crops for a long while, and came up with the black oats, the Avena strigosa. This is some work that's been done by the breeder in France, looking at black oat varieties. So JD, or Jouffret Drouleau, the French breeder, has a range of black oat species. Now the early species they use, they're breeding particularly for late planting. So in France, if they want to late plant a cover crop after maize, for instance, they want a very early variety. Now if it's late planted, even the early varieties won't set seed before we destroy them in the spring. But if you plant them in late August, early September, which you want to in this system to produce enough biomass, then they will set seed. So what we need is a later variety, something like Cadence or Panache, to give us our biomass benefits, dry out the soil, but most importantly not set seed before we destroy them in February, March. And that is crucial. The burst seam clover has given us massive improvements in soil structure. Here we've got a much more crumbly structure, drier in the bottom, maybe damper on the surface, so we may have to wait the odd extra day if we're direct drilling or we destroy a cover crop earlier. But we put much more structure, we put our structure in with our cover crop rather than putting it in with establishment or with cultivation. Okay, we're stood now in the spring wheat that's following a stale seed beds or a fallow. So we're in the second year of this. So we have around 40 heads per square metre here in year 2. But you'll notice we've got a much more uneven crop than where we've followed an autumn cover crop, and we've got much more blackgrass, so much better than doing winter wheat followed by winter wheat or carrying on with our winter cropping. But we can do better where we include the cover crop. So including the cover crop has put some soil structure in to allow us to direct drill. In some seasons it will mean we can direct drill where we might not be able to after fallow and stale seed beds. But also we're improving blackgrass control, and it's not magic. We think the reason it's improving the blackgrass control is, one, we're not losing the benefits of the stale seed bed because we allow the blackgrass to come up in our cover crop, then destroy it. But secondly, our cover crop roots are improving soil structure, and by careful manipulation of the varieties and species in our mix and destruction timing, we can actually get our cover crop to improve our crop as well. So you'll notice here we've got a thinner crop, more uneven crops is unstructured, thinner, possibly because we haven't got the nutrient release from our cover crop. Okay, the plot we're in here is some spring wheat. Again, it was direct drilled the same day as the other spring wheat. The difference here is we've preceded the spring wheat with a catch crop of Phacelia. So although our catch crop here of Phacelia, very good rooting, has given us some good soil structure and given us a nice even crop compared to following a fallow, by actually swamping the blackgrass in the autumn, we've actually left more seed in the seed bank, and you'll see this has got much more blackgrass in than where we've followed it with our more open cover crop. However, the sad fact is, where we've got blackgrass problems, where it's getting worse, our 10-tonne land isn't producing 10 tonnes, it may be producing 7 or 8. We're still having to spend all the money on the herbicides that aren't working for us. So our return, and our fungicides, our returns are smaller than even modest yields of spring wheat. And with our spring wheat, we're potentially making more money and improving the blackgrass situation rather than making it worse. It's difficult. Spring wheat is a mindset change, but it's done well, or done properly, we can actually get better returns for our growers and help with the blackgrass situation. The information from Project Lamport is disseminated by numerous farm visits. So we've just coming to the end of a month of lots of farm visits with very small groups of farmers. So we've been doing that through the key period of June into early July. All the results will go into our AgriVista Select magazine. Our agronomists will have all the information which they'll be able to disseminate to farmers. There may be some press visits, so you may be able to read about it in your magazine that comes through the post. So there'll be a wide dissemination.